Hello everyone, ex-Wallkill Bethelite here. And people have a fascination, Jehovah's Witnesses have a fascination with this title of elder, with elders in general. And to an extent, the reason for that is because that's all a lot of them know. But from a former Bethelite's perspective, there's nothing an elder can do that a young Bethelite can't do. As a matter of fact, there's more a young Bethelite can do than what an elder can do. I grew up with people being appointed an elder. The congregation would clap. But I also grew up with people being accepted to Bethel, and there's parties that are being held. Bethel was more celebrated than being appointed an elder. And then when I got to Bethel, I kind of understood why. Because I'm here with a bunch of 19-year-old kids, and all of them can give public talks. All of them can do the different parts in the meeting. There was a time at East Poughkeepsie where primarily Bethelites ran the meeting because we were building a Kingdom Hall. We were having a Kingdom Hall build where, well, a lot of the elders were going to work on the hall build. And understandably, a lot of the Bethelites who weren't able to just leave Bethel and go to the Kingdom Hall build would just go to the hall. And a lot of us would do all the parts at the meeting because the elders were at the Kingdom Hall build. Well, keep in mind, a lot of the Bethelites were young. A lot of them were early 20s. A lot just got to Bethel 18, 19. There wasn't a single thing that we couldn't do, and it wasn't like the meeting quality went down at all. When you go to Bethel, the ability, the pure ability goes up of the individual's speaking ability. It logically makes sense because a lot of Bethelites have been giving the same talk that this 50-year-old elder is giving, and they've been doing it since they were 18. Eventually, you're supposed to get good at something the longer you do it. So when you are around a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids walking around talking about the public talk that they're about to give, you're around a bunch of kids talking about the assembly parts they're going to be a part of. They're Bethelites. They're Bethelites. It's not hard to be on an assembly part. I went back home just to visit from Wallkill, Bethel. I just wanted to go visit my family and things like that. And when the people in the congregation in general heard that I was coming back, they just changed the whole structure of the meeting to just put me up there. So just being at Bethel, you're going to be given a lot of parts. But the point is that a lot of Bethelites are young kids. So the question I have, what's so special about an elder? What's an elder? You're looking at a 40-year-old man, 45, 50-year-old man older that isn't doing anything that a 19-year-old kid can't do. The only difference, oftentimes, is that in the local congregations, they just hold people back. That's the only reason why everybody is not an elder in there. It's because you have people in there with either mental problems or they literally can't hardly read at all. or they have no ability at all, or they're just holding them back. Because it doesn't take that much to be an elder. The Bethelites get up in the morning and they go to work. And they work full time. And they oftentimes travel just to get to a meeting. They got a carpool, they got to do all that. Elders oftentimes work. Some of them don't even work full time. Some of the elders don't even work full time. Some of them, their wives work full time, and they may work part time. Some of them, their wives may work full time, and they may work part time. Whereas these young kids, what's the difference? These young kids are working full time at Bethel, giving public talks. Elders, if they are working full time, giving public talks, these kids at Bethel can do any part in the meeting and do a really good job of it because they've been doing it since they were kids. And these elders give any part. And there's no difference. There's nothing special about the elders other than they're just the word itself. There's nothing this elder can do that anybody in the hall, for the most part, if they have any kind of sense, can't do. So, growing up, I grew up in a household with an elder who knew other elders. I was around these people. There was nothing impressive about them. Nothing impressive at all. The Jehovah's Witnesses in general are just taught to be subservient. They're taught to be subservient. So an elder would more than likely, on a Saturday or a Sunday, be telling everybody where to go as far as field service is concerned. They'd be telling people to get in this car, go to that car group, go do this, go do that. That's just because everybody lets them. They're just taught to be subservient to a person that has a title. But the elder themselves are nothing special. I grew up with them. I grew up at a Kingdom Hall Central. Central was a large Kingdom Hall. It wasn't small. It was a large Kingdom Hall. Now, I'm not saying that these people were bad people, but I'm saying they were nothing special about any of them. There was nothing about this person with the title elder, as far as their abilities, that anybody at that hall that wants to be an elder, you know, why they wouldn't be one, other than the elders just hold them back. They gotta hold them back so that they can be special. So when you experience that, I always have to keep in mind that my experience is different from other people's experiences because I went to Bethel. I saw things that were different from what the average person sees. When you're at Bethel and you literally walk across the hall and a governing body member is walking the opposite direction and you nod your head and say hello and it's nothing to you after a while, that's completely different from a person who is looking at a governing body member on a broadcast and they're thinking, wow, this guy must have God's spirit just flowing all through him. And when I had a governing body member at my Kingdom Hall in Poughkeepsie, it's different. Again, Bethelites, they're around governing body members a lot of times. Some of them are in their hall. Their view on things, their experience with things are different from the average person at the local hall who all they know about are elders. They don't realize that a not a little kid, but an 18-year-old kid who was the hottest thing at his hall comes to Bethel, along with a lot of other kids that were in the same predicament, and they're all more gifted than all the elders were in their halls. Not only that, a lot of the elders, they're going through divorces. I mean, if the difference is that elders oftentimes have families, a lot of these, they're cheating on their wives, they're beating on their wives, they're verbally abusing their wives. They have children, but they're not speaking to them because they didn't do a good job raising them. So Jehovah's Witness men are able to just sweep their responsibility and their part in their kids being where they are under the rug by, well, if they're not going to hall, I don't have to speak to them. If they're not going to the hall, I don't have to face the fact that I was a bad parent, and that's the reason why my kid is where my kid is. So, for the most part, a lot of elders, you got more cowardice. You got more bad example of what a husband should be. A lot of elders, so you think about, and this is fact. This is not Marcus's opinion. This is fact. Go to Bethel. You will have 20-something-year-old elders. You will have kids that can give any public talk. And if they can give a public talk, why wouldn't they be able to do anything else in the meeting? You got 20-year-olds that can do conduct the watchtower. That's when you start to realize it's not that hard. These elders are given all this clout for virtually no reason. What's this elders book? So if elders have some sort of special ability or they're especially wise or something, why do they have to have an elders book? Explain that to me. Yeah, Bethelites, we had our dwelling in unity manual or what have you. But for the most part, people that are Jehovah's Witnesses just do whatever Watchtower tells them to do. So if elders are anything special, why do they have to have an elders book? Why can't they just use their own wisdom and knowledge and everything else? And the elders book gets leaked and all this other stuff. And two, keep in mind too, normally you got a couple of dominant personalities in the elder body, and everybody else just follows them. They just do whatever it is that the other elders tell them to do. So from a Bethelite's perspective, when you look at Bethelite versus elder, it dwarfs the elder because you are comparing a 50, 60-year-old man to a 19-year-old kid, and that 19-year-old kid can and does do everything that the elder does, except for they haven't had 3 divorces because they fail every time they have a family. That 19-year-old Bethelite isn't not speaking to their kids when they're the ones that raised them and did the bad job. When you compare, and comment down below, because I never want people to just agree with me just to agree with me. Comment down below and disagree if you want to disagree. Elders ain't nothing. Comment down below and let me know what an elder does that all these people at Bethel that I grew up, that I was around, that were teenagers. What's this 50-year-old man do that these teenagers can't do? Because they did it. The Bethelites would do every part. The Bethelites would be on assembly parts more so than the elders would. trying to get off on this exit, and people aren't letting me. I tell you what, Texans would rather die most of the time than just have common sense in driving. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We are here to discuss Watchtower gives people titles that mean nothing. You get to Bethel and you find out that these kids are all doing what elders do, except for they got more skill at it. Elders can do the judicial meetings and you know, they do the shepherding call, they do all that, but they have an elder's manual, and oftentimes they just mimic what they see other elders do. I mean, kids can do that, just mimic what they see other people do. That's why when I hear that somebody is an elder, it doesn't impress me. It doesn't impress me at all. I grew up in a household with an elder. Not a bad guy, but had just as many divorces and failed marriages and did just as bad of a job raising kids as anybody that's not even a Jehovah's Witness. You know what I mean? I mean, anybody could again, not a bad person. I'm not saying all these elders beat their kids and shoot them out of cannons and things like that. But they have just as many problems as anybody else. A lot of these families just look good because they sit up front and they all raise their hand to comment. But in reality, this person is no different from anybody else. And Bethel itself kind of exposes that, and that the kids that go there are given the privileges that an elder would have. If you are a Bethelite and you're a ministerial servant, you probably have more privileges than an elder at your local congregation. You wake up in the heart of the organization every day. You just walk around after work. You just walk around the printing presses that print the Watchtower. If you're an elder, I mean, if you're a Bethelite, you give a public talk if you want to give a public talk, and you're 19, 18, you're at Beth. So when it comes to a Bethelite compared to an elder, I got to pick Bethelites, because oftentimes these are kids that have sacrificed a lot. They're kids that sacrificed a lot. And you're comparing them to an elder who can't do nothing that these kids, can't do. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. My voice is a little bit in and out because I've been sick. So let me know what you think. Next Walk Hill Bethelite signing out.